In hopefully 3, 2, 1. Hello, welcome. Thanks for joining us under the library. This is our homebrewed actual play Call of Cthulhu show. Before we go in tonight, if you would like to support what we do here on the show, please visit us at patreon.com/underthelibrary. Also, if you would like to play our module in Call of Cthulhu, you can find that at DriveThruRPG. Just search for The Snake's Oil. That is set in our universe of Season 1 with a whole bunch of Season 1's characters, both ours and NPCs, and featuring some really, really amazing artwork. That's at DriveThruRPG. Search The Snake's Oil. With that, let's get going. We've got a full house again tonight. My name's Arthur. I am playing Franny. I am joined by Rick as Bello. Wayne is Rutherford. Chris is playing Boone. Emily's Joe. And Scott is Cully. Of course, as always, our keeper is Michael. Michael, the show is all yours.
Thank you. We are a tabletop role-playing game set in the Call of Cthulhu universe. We are very immature people playing... Oh, man, I just screwed it up.
You know, you had it. You just switched it. Just keep going. It's mature themes. You got it.
Doing mature themes. Yeah, that's right. So if you hear the ice cream truck and you think, I wonder how many bodies he has in the freezer, this is probably the right show for you. That said, I'm going to do my best to try and keep the characters alive tonight, even though they're trying their damnedest to not. And with that, I'll give it over to Emily with last week's bloody recap.
All right. As we began last week, Boone and Joe were in the Chicken Mobile in the parking lot using the megaphone to advertise Bello's product. Bello can hear this from inside of the gates in the parking lot, but instead of heading right out to the Chicken Mobile, he instead heads towards a group of people and starts talking, asking what happened, just trying to maybe gather some information. A woman in the group asks him who he is, what he's doing there, perhaps what department he's with, and he lies. Unfortunately, he lies and says that he is working in the food service department run by a Miss Paula Bradford, who he is speaking to.
Oops.
She realizes his lie and immediately starts yelling for someone to back her, for backup, for security, for something, screaming for help. Maybe if he's not supposed to be there, he set the fire. So Bello punches her in the throat and she's out cold.
Oh, Bello throat puncher Fupule.
Oh,
He was in the middle of a group of people who all work together, perhaps know each other. At least 3 or 4 people leapt onto him and tried to restrain him and injured him. And I might have more details about that later, but I think there was loss of an ear in this encounter.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, Boone and Joe start to drive around looking for a less populated entrance, hoping to get back in to try to help Bello, though they don't know he's in the dog pile. They just know he's inside. Back at the house, Cully is caring for Richard and taking copious notes. And dreaming, Richard mumbles, "But why? You know, I've never said a word. It's not necessary." Cully searches the bedroom while he is watching Rutherford and finds a compartment where there is a sealed envelope with a very special wax seal. Richard screams! Everybody else runs in. Everybody else, Franny, Rutherford. And he's totally still again. But they open the envelope and find a normal-looking key. Not exotic, probably for a door. Cully knows that Richard leaves town once a week, and Rutherford has received correspondence from Abiquiu, and they make the connection that he may have a second house there. At the same time, heard at Richard's house and also at the facility, there is a giant boom. The people in the parking lot flee. Bello gets trampled, and that's when his ear scrapes off on the pavement. Paula Bradford has also been trampled. She is now dead. And the fire spreads to the front offices. Bello limps out, gets in the chicken mobile. They all head back. And during the ride, Bello questions himself for these actions. Killing Paula. Loses some sanity. Franny and Rutherford are continuing to search at Richards. And Rutherford finds a painting in the foyer that has a massive 2500, while Franny finds Modern Street written on the inside of the key envelope. They have an address. And Cully runs outside, realizing he doesn't know what happened to Joe. Just about the time the chicken mobile gets back, they see a massive billowing column of smoke from the lab facility, blaring sirens. Cully and Joe catch up, and everybody heads in to debrief. And that's all I've got.
All right. Thank you for that recap. And with that, we're off. So I believe y'all are all together for the first time in a while. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. And just for my own kind of needs here, that would put Boone and Bello and Joe in a car together. Or maybe Cully, you were embracing Joe when we left off.
Yeah, Joe had gotten out and they had, I think, even started heading into the house.
Okay, perfect.
So Joe and I were catching up for a couple minutes, which would have given them more than enough time to head in.
All right. And
I was helping Bello go into the kitchen so I could operate on it.
Oh, this is going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy that part of this episode. Rutherford, Franny, y'all are where?
Would we still be inside looking at the envelope?
Absolutely, yeah. And then we saw the chicken car pulling up.
Yeah.
I called Rutherford. I don't know if you recall this, but I called you to come outside.
Yeah.
When I saw how bad it was. And so I called both of you.
To come look at the smoke.
Yes, I called you. Okay. I was like, Rutherford, Franny, because it was like so much more than we had initially thought.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I guess
you
we'd
guys
probably
would have been outside with us.
Yeah. And I think Franny would probably be trying to examine the building to see if she could determine where the fire is based on her knowledge of the building. From that distance, kind of just staring at it, dumbfounded, trying to find a spot.
So that was, just to clarify, y'all left Richard alone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep,
okay.
That probably would have happened. And I do want to say that, Emily, I noticed that you kind of glossed over that whole fire explosion thing in your recap. That wasn't a big part of it. It's just kind of as a thing that was happening back there. Just a little bit, just a thing that just happened to be
remember, player
happening.
Knowledge versus character knowledge. The only people that know this happened that Joe did this are going to be me now and Boone.
Yep, absolutely.
Plus obviously Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was to say to Joe, we can trust Boone's not going to say anything.
But I think that's a good point. Just in terms of the recap there, it seemed to be kind of a minor part of the whole recap, when in reality, it's kind of big.
The small fire got big.
It blew my feathers off, I'll tell you that.
Gross.
I mean, you could say you were responsible for saving Bello's life.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you leave that out because you're shameful? Is you ashamed of this? Is that?
That is one way to look at it.
No, I'm so glad there's an upside. Oh my goodness.
Wait, is that really an upside?
Oh, ouch.
It's a silver chicken lining.
Do we know how many
Joe
people
doesn't want to see anyone else die.
Yeah, do we know how many people died in the fire yet?
No, nobody died.
Well, there's the
I don't know. There are a lot of
the
offices.
question is, did that woman die because she was punched in the throat by Bello, or because of something related to the fire,
or because she was trampled
by people running from the fire?
Yeah.
We will never know. We will never know.
I'm guessing next week's episode will be just in time for a newspaper. They'll have the night to write it. So nice. I'm sure that y'all will get more details and the government's perspective on exactly what happened. Nice. But until then, we've got somebody's ear to reattach. Y'all have friends to catch up with. So I'll let y'all take it from here.
I think ear reattachment. I'm really looking forward to that.
I want the hope.
I'm excited about that.
Alrighty, I help Bello now. Get up on that there kitchen table.
Now, you can trust me. I'm one of the best hobo doctors in the business. So I take out.
Wait, I just want to give you what you're looking at, Boone, which is, I mean, it kind of looks like ground beef with some flesh wrapped around it. It's just, I mean, what you're holding on to.
Scott takes his headphones off.
There's not much there that screams ear.
Okay, I can still work with that.
So is it over? Before we get into this, I think that Rutherford, or at least Franny, would have wandered back inside after everyone's going in. You know, if this thing's happening, there's sort of an emergency thing. Franny would want to make herself available inside.
And really quickly, just as soon as we get in with Joe, I'm going to say, Joe, we've got to go back and check on Richard right away. You know, come on. And I'm going to sort of drag Joe with me to go check on Richard.
Let's hold on that part.
Okay. I'm just telling you from a timing perspective.
Yeah,
from a timing perspective.
She doesn't even know that part yet. So let's let Boone do his operation, and then we'll cut to
I'm just telling you from a timing perspective, it would be like less than a minute lapsed that between going outside and going back to Richard. So
cool. Yeah, makes total sense.
Okay, so I take out a really fancy looking bottle of beer, the kind with the ceramic flip top. And
is that for me, or is that for
no? Inside is actually pure alcohol. So I rinse the ear off with alcohol, or what's left of it. It's like a little bit of the outside, but there's a good lobe there. Got a good lobe.
Got a lobe.
Oh, and hurts so
this is gonna hurt, my friend. And I soak some cotton in the alcohol, and I pat down the side of your head.
Oh my Lord! Oh, that burns. That's smart. Oh.
Now remember, he's got gravel kind of stuck all inside of his cheek and his forehead and everything else too. He got a really good stomping on.
I'm not worried about that. I'm just concerned. I'm just cleaning the area around the actual ear hole.
Okay.
And then I've got sadly, I've got a very small upholstery needle, which has a hook in it, not unlike the one necessary for stitches.
That's a good size one.
No.
An upholstery needle.
I hate this game so much.
Oh boy.
That's as an aside, that's actually the needle I used to sew up the huge cut in Martha's leg.
Oh my God.
Was an upholstery needle and chloroseptic spray as a painkiller. Okay, so I take the upholstery needle, and it looks like, oh wow, so we have to leave your ear canal open. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew up as much of it as I can to get skin over the bulk of it, and then I'm just going to put that little cartilage rim that's left around the opening to at least create some sort of.
Sure, it looks like a handmade tortellini. I'm okay with that.
Exactly. Yeah, like someone pinched the edge.
Do I really need to be here for this?
And then, but there's a good lobe, so I'm able to put attach a lobe back on. Okay. Then I take out some more cotton. I think I'm going to put some alcohol on it, press it up against, and then use the rest of the cotton to wrap around your head. And I think I will. I'll take some tweezers to pick, before I do that, pick as much of the gravel out of the side of your head as I can.
There you go, Bello. Those you should be proud of those. We call them battle scars in the hobo world.
No, I appreciate that. I do have one question for the keeper. Does everything out of that ear sound like a whistle now? Is that the?
See, if you're really stopped up and you blow your nose really hard, it does. You just get a little gust out there. It makes a whistle.
But so I'm gonna have my leftover tortellini at the break.
There you go.
So for the listeners, it will be worth it to go and re-listen to that on YouTube just to watch Scott's reaction. That was as entertaining as Chris's description.
And so I say that was that was just a little bit of a appetizer, some medical foreplay, Boone. What about my arm?
I already help him with his arm.
Yeah, I put it in a
I
sling.
thought your arm was also. Oh,
yeah, I put it in a sling.
He got trampled or something
did get trampled
with his arm.
Oh, did you?
He's got like a second break or something.
Yeah, it did. It
Same
unset
arm
the
or
it unset the
arm?
brake. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Let me take a look at that. Thank God you're in your street clothes. You're not in your chicken clothes.
I know, right? Isn't that amazing? The
Bello,
mystery is to
I'm
whether or
gonna-
not-
Can you make a little Constitution roll to see how well you come out on this one?
Oh, let's see how I come out. Oh, that's a 92.
All right. So
Going
as
great.
you do whatever you're about to do, you have some fun here, Boone, because he's gonna pass out.
That'll make it easier.
Hey, can I say one thing before I pass out?
Is it a bad chicken joke?
No, it's not at all. I say, Boone, if you need to, I've got tongs and a chicken spit roaster in the back of the Labaka if you need to replace my arm with something.
I see where. Yep, I see where you're headed. Okay, so I'm gonna have to cut the sleeve off that fine button-up shirt in order to get to it. Oh boy, that doesn't look good. Oh Lord, it's broken in 3 more places, but the bone ain't through the skin. Oh God, I can't set it. Can't set it the way I did before. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to reinforce it with something. So I'll go out and get those tongs and those spits. And what I'm going to do is I'm on either side of the break, I'm going to stick those spits down and deep into the skin on either side so that there's metal bracing alongside the broken bones. Then I'm going to take a little hobo hammer and I'm going to tap on those bones to get them all in a line.
I'm sorry, Paula. I'm so sorry, Paula.
And then I'm going to wrap the heck out of that in order to keep it all in place. And how's his hand doing? Does it need to be replaced with a pair of tongs?
No.
I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed that you didn't use the term bone kebab.
Oh, bone kebab, yeah.
All I know though is we are not going to forget from here on out that he is one-armed.
Yeah,
I will.
He'll have to be careful around magnets in the future too. Yeah. Oh, so his hand is okay. That's a god awful shame. Okay, well, I'll.
But now I'm a spitting image, if you know what I mean.
You're passed out. That's what we mean. You're passed out.
Thank God you only thought that.
I only think in bad puns.
I'll give him a fresh sling and Cully, I go out and you said time wise you're
so by now I'm in the bedroom with Richard again. So
okay.
As long as this is taken, like I said, we talked for like 45 seconds and then we went and I dragged her right into the bedroom.
Yeah, but I want to retcon back before you walk into the room, which is what I was saying. Because there's going to be something there. So if you want to, Joe, you were asking Cully, you were a little surprised.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to cut scenes. I think the point was that Cully just didn't want Boone to talk to him because he wasn't there.
Well, got it. Okay.
So basically, think of it this way. As Boone is getting Bello on the table, we're passing them on the way to the bedroom.
Yep, I got you. So where do y'all want to pick up then?
Boone, did you have more to do?
No, I'm just going to ask, eventually I'm going to ask Cully where the medicine cabinet is and try to find some painkillers. Okay, so it's nothing important. Just,
it's nothing important.
Bello, but
wait.
And somebody can find some smelling salts or a little ammonia. We'll wake him back up a little later.
No, you got to let him sleep. Let him sleep through the worst of it.
do I get knocked out in every third episode?
Yeah.
I think
we got to keep it on the track somehow here.
Yeah, that's fair.
So basically, as he's doing that, I've got my arm around Joe's arm, and I'm sort of walking her in, sort of half dragging, half walking, and I'm saying, and then we found Richard, and I got to tell you,
did you go into the facility?
No, we never had to. And so again, as we're whatever you want us to see or whatever. But as we're talking, we're walking.
Right. And Richard is sitting up on the end of the bed.
So, yeah. So, but although before that we had gotten there, I'm assuming there's a little bit of walking, and I would be saying, and so Richard is he's like unconscious, and he got like some kind of drug or chemical, and he's just incomprehensible. He can't talk. He was saying things in his sleep, and so maybe by now we get there, and then I see him, and I'm like, oh, I don't understand.
He doesn't look.
And he looks right at you and he says, "No, Cully, you look very good. It is good to see you, yes?"
Hello, Mr. Richard. I'm so glad you're back.
Rutherford! And I'm just screaming for Rutherford.
Wait, what's wrong?
Why are you screaming? What is wrong, Cully? What is the problem?
You were unconscious. Joe, go get Rutherford, please, right now. Go get Rutherford. Go get Franny.
Sure.
It's safe to assume we would hear that, right?
Yeah, go get Franny.
Okay.
So as you go to do this, I'm going to say, you were unconscious. We found you wandering the streets. You didn't even have your accent anymore, which may have been an accident by the keeper. We're not sure. Nobody will say. But you were unconscious and you were talking in your sleep and you were confused and we drove you home. And well, how are you up? I don't understand.
No, yes, I met up with some college buddies from university. We had very, very good time over the week, and now we're like, I partied a little hard. I'm glad y'all took such good care of me.
I don't know about that. We saw you get dragged into a car by government guys.
No. These university buddies, yes.
And is Joe back with Rutherford?
Yeah, am I back with Rutherford?
Yeah.
So, Franny, Rutherford, he's saying that he was with college friends and he wasn't with the army.
Then Rutherford goes up and it says,
and his accent is back.
Richard, this is remarkable. You were completely out of it not too long ago, and we were checking all over you. And then I look at his eye to see if his eye is still red.
And it, you look at it, and it's pretty it's normal. You're wondering if maybe it was just an irritation.
And I said, "Your eye. Do you feel any discomfort in your eye, Richard?" And
my eye. What is wrong with my eye? Why would you worry about my eyes?
And then Rutherford turns, quietly to Cully and just says, I believe the medicines they gave him are causing him some memory failure.
No. My memory is fine. Rutherford, do you remember Chance and William from college? Yes, I went out with them. And you'd be like, oh yeah, those were like people that y'all knew.
And Rutherford, who were those? Who were these men? What do they do now? Richard, Rutherford, these men that you hung out, that you were with over the weekend, what do they do now?
These were friends with us back in college days. One went into the sciences like me, and another followed in Richard's path into the world of architectural. He's more of an engineer to make sure that the buildings don't fall down.
Yeah, see, he remembers them very well. They were here consulting, and when I saw them outside the theater, I jump in the car with them, and we had too good of a time. And I'm sorry, obviously it worries y'all, and I apologize for worrying you.
And Richard, how might we get a hold of these gentlemen now?
Though I believe they're back on their way to California, or maybe via Colorado. I don't know. I don't believe it would be possible to catch them.
I think it would be very important for us to speak with them. If we wanted to get in touch with them, what information could you give us to help us find them? Maybe by phone call. Maybe we could catch them in an airport.
Oh, they are driving.
And I said, Richard, and I said, let's just take note of this. And then I say, Cully, do you have those notes that Richard was?
I was just gonna say, I want to take out my notes, but I'm taking him out to show Joe. So I'm trying to really freaked out by this because I was pretty sure that they'd lobotomized him and that he was going to be gone forever. And so I've got my notes on it. I'm sort of trying to, quietly show Joe, like it's describing how he was mumbling in his sleep and he was incomprehensible and he couldn't talk. And he was
also, he had a puncture wound. It wasn't just irritating.
And he had a puncture wound in his eye. And he wasn't Richard. It's like they had changed who he was. So I've got notes for all this and I'm showing Joe all of it as he's sort of talking to you guys. So
also I want to glance at his arm where the IV would have been.
Yeah. So Rutherford, as you're saying this, when you mention the notes, I'm going to sort of bring them over to you and I'm going to hand you my notebook, but I'm going to say, be really careful with it. All of my notes are in there for everything.
And then I said, Richard, please stay seated, but show me your arm. And the one that had the IV, I reach out for his arm and for him to show me his forearm.
And he sticks it out for you, and there's some light bruising, but that's about it.
And I said, this is most curious. Not too long ago, once again, Rutherford, he just directly says, there was a wound here. And do you recall how you got that, Richard?
Oh, we tied one on pretty good, and I probably hit it against the bar or a bar stool or threw it over somebody's shoulder too hard. I'm sure it is nothing.
What bar did you go to, Richard?
Oh, the one down the street from the theater. Let's see, what is that one down there? Arlene's.
Arlene's, and you were at Arlene's all night?
Oh, well, we tied one on pretty good, and I don't want to be indiscriminate here, but, I don't remember much after a certain point.
How late would you say it was that you do remember?
Oh, you're asking lots of questions. What is the big to-do here?
Well, you see, Richard, we're concerned about you because what we saw and what we experienced today doesn't really match up with what you're telling us, and we certainly believe you. We don't suspect you of anything, but we're concerned about you, and we're concerned that someone...
What is all this about?
We are
you've known me for a long
Richard,
time.
you're talking to me right now. We are concerned that something has happened to you. Not that you've done anything.
I am fine.
So can you tell me how long you were at Arlene's last night?
Yes, we were there. That was well after midnight, probably 2 or 3 a.m.
Okay, until 2 or 3 a.m. So if we speak to someone there, they would certainly have noticed three gentlemen of your stature having a rip-roaring good time.
Of course. What would be problem?
Excellent. And can you tell me what you remember about this morning and this afternoon?
Oh, this morning I had terrible headache and the worst nightmares. I mean, it was just awful.
What kind of nightmares?
I wrote down some of what you said in your nightmares.
Yeah.
You all seem way too concerned about the
I was
hangover.
taking your pulse, Richard. I was taking your pulse. I was checking your eyes to make sure that you were still breathing and alive.
So at this point, Rutherford will just quietly move away from the group and will pull out and grab the artist renderings that were of that evening.
Okay.
And we'll come back and just from a completely different angle, we'll come towards Richard and say, Richard, you love art, and I discovered a wonderful new artist in town doing.
Oh yes, bring it here. I'd love to see this.
Fabulous sketches. His name is Wilbur, if I remember correctly.
Willard Palmer.
Willard.
Yes.
Willard.
Yes.
Willard Palmer. And I open it, and I want to open it to the sketch that was of the car and the time that he would have been abducted. That was all those goings on that Willard had done, and just to see what his reaction is, like if there's any recall or anything like that.
Sure, make a spot hidden on that.
Okay.
Because you don't have any psychology, right?
No.
One of these days, one of us will have to take psychology.
Right. Yeah.
I took psychology.
Character.
Okay.
For what it's worth.
Well, I'm just thinking about them as good friends, right? Like, what his reaction would be.
So the spot hidden is actually an extreme success.
Okay. So he taps on the image for a second with his fingers. It's the first time he's kind of paused.
Mm-hmm.
And just a brief moment. And then he says, "Oh, yes. Yeah. That is when they picked me up, of course. A wonderful artist. Where did you find him?"
Oh, he was out on the street drawing that evening when you were when our friends picked you up.
Oh my goodness! I would love to get some of this very large for the walls in the house. Yes, I mean it would be beautiful. Do you know where we can contact him?
I do. I have his contact on the back of the artwork. Why didn't you have our friends contact me? I would have loved to have joined you. What happened?
And he kind of ignores you, and he immediately flips to the back of the book and looks at Willard's address.
Oh no, he's gonna kill him.
and then he flips back and he kind of looks at you blankly for a moment, and then he kind of clicks to, and he's like, "No, we were going to get you, but I knew that you must be having so much fun at the theater, and I didn't want to interrupt. And so, it was just kind of a chance meeting, And so,
and then I say, actually, Cully, we need to quickly. Richard must be very hungry, and I start shuffling Richard. I grab him around the shoulders, and I start shuffling him out of the room towards the kitchen, and I ask Cully very forcefully,
"Oh my goodness, what is going on here? Who?"
And I said, "You've been out for too long. You need to get some."
Wait, Rutherford, there's blood everywhere. Like Bello's laid out on the counter there, and like half stitched together with prongs poking out of his arm. Like
I forgot that was happening.
I buried those deep in. And closed it, so they're like
nice. Okay,
so we quickly stop. We go to his study or any other room, and I tell Cully to bring him with me, and I whisper to Cully, "Leave your notes behind. Do not bring them with you. Do not say anything about the facility or anything else right now."
All right, so I'm gonna sort of surreptitiously like hand them to Joe and be like, "Joe, keep these safe for me. You're the only one I trust with them. And don't give them to anybody. I'm going to do what Rutherford said, but you see what else you can do with Franny, okay?"
And then Rutherford goes, I remember now. I said, "I'm so sorry, Richard, that I did miss the evening. I recall now that our friends did call me several days ago, and I was supposed to meet up. You know me.
Yes.
I get lost into all the science all the time, and I was this new artwork that I saw. I was in a whole different place, and our friends here were settled in, and of course relaxing in your house the whole evening, and had never even been out for the evening. But they were just wondering and worried about you, with you being out, and so they had settled in here the whole time."
So really quickly, Michael, am I sort of picking up what Rutherford is doing?
Yeah, you're smart, and you so catch on.
My sense is that Rutherford doesn't believe him, but he's appeasing him.
Sure.
And we're trying to learn more by playing along. So Cully would get that.
The only thing that would get in the way is you're kind of shocked right now, Cully. So why don't you just make
Can I finally use my psychology?
Yeah, that's fine. Or your intelligence. Either one. You could use your intelligence if you want.
Okay. Ooh, I got a 2.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know what's going on. You're ready to play along, and you're ready to help. Anyway.
So, and maybe in particular with that good a roll, am I picking up specifically, and I don't know, Rutherford, this is something you could share, but like my specific sense is that like I'm thinking that they did something that almost like changed his personality, and they took some parts out and then left other memories. And I have no idea how this would have happened. This is like sort of the time of science fiction coming, you know what I mean? So my sense is that there's just something going on that I can't possibly understand, but that they somehow have taken out parts of Richard, but replaced it with other things.
Tahiti is a magical place.
So Rutherford, he would see your quizzical look and lean over and whisper to you, and he says he's not all Richard there, and I think we need to protect our friends and us. He could be a conduit of information for someone else, and that's Rutherford's paranoia, is that now the government has drugged Richard, and Richard is now a microphone, in essence, for gathering information for the government.
I think that's totally in line with Rutherford. That makes total sense.
Yep. Okay. And as we're walking, is Richard in front of us and not looking at us?
Richard's looking around and kind of taking in his own. Okay. With that roll, I'm going to give you a little bit more. Richard's walking around and like taking in his house. Not like it's the first time he's seen it, but like he's examining it more closely probably than somebody who lived there would.
And so super crazy important. I whispered to Cully, do not mention the other house. We may have to go there and leave.
Okay.
Richard.
And yep,
the
and I'm going to
opposite of what Franny wants to do, just for the record.
I'm going to mouth the words to you, hopefully, so he doesn't hear me. Are we sure it's Richard?
And that's why we know he's physically Richard, but the drugs inside have altered his brain, and he may have been. There's a curious new phenomenon out there called brainwashing that they're doing in the army and in the sciences, and I think he may have been brainwashed by some people connected to the facility or some other source.
Joe, what are you doing at this point while all this is going on?
That's a good question, Franny, Michael.
What are Joe and I'm just curious what Joe and Franny are doing.
Well, so Cully gave me his notes, his journal for safekeeping, and the first thing that I would do is I carry a little satchel bag, and I would just because it also has my own journal in it, and I just make sure that both of the journals are way down at the bottom of the bag.
Okay.
And since I don't really want to go talk to Franny, I would probably then follow along to the kitchen and see how Boone and Bello are doing, hoping that when Boone is done, I could talk to him about the situation.
Okay. When you get in the kitchen, Bello is white as a sheet. I mean, he just like, if you just went through that, you'd look like Scott. Just done. And so he's out, and there's blood everywhere, of course. The house is actually quite a mess at this point. If y'all think about what's transpired, right? The paintings have been cut out of like most of the frames on the walls.
Richard's gonna shit himself when he comes to.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of like if you shuttled him directly to the study, I'll kind of like I'll leave that yet. But like the house is really disheveled at this point, and pretty much a mess. Y'all have eaten there, y'all have camped there.
We're not going to get our deposit back.
Yes, exactly. And Franny, what does that leave you doing?
So I just want to double check. So Joe, you immediately left. So we were all in Richard's room. When the three of them left, you immediately went after them?
So you were still in the room?
Yes.
I forgot that you were there, Franny. So I would have stepped out so that I could.
That's why I said, go talk to Franny.
That makes sense. Well, I would step out and stash the journal and then keep going.
Okay. Is there a telephone in this room?
Make a luck roll.
And can I just ask, did they take him to the kitchen or the study?
They took him to the study.
Okay.
Because he wanted to take him to the kitchen, but he forgot that there was bloody body there. Okay, yeah, there's a telephone in the room.
That's success. Okay. So then I'm going to get on the phone and call Arlene's.
Oh, okay. Right. And pretty gruff voice answers and says, this is Phil. This is Arlene's. What's up?
Oh, hello, Phil at Arlene's. My name is Franny. I'm calling to check on a couple friends of mine. Well, really one friend and his two acquaintances who were there last night. Wondering if anyone who was working last night happened to be there now so that I could just confirm that they were actually there. These would be three gentlemen who look pretty upscale. They're all scientists, and apparently they got rather drunk last night all together.
Yeah,
do you remember three middle-aged men there last night until about 2, 3 o'clock, really cutting it up?
Yeah, we get loads of them. Of course, there were middle-aged men looking like scientists in here. We're in a lab town.
So I don't know what Richard looks like specifically, but I would describe Richard
sure
as specifically as I can.
Yeah.
Pomaded hair, tight.
Oh, right. Yes, that's
white
right.
suit.
That's
super
right.
Skinny.
That's an occasional accent.
That's yeah, and with a
1940s metrosexual
with a very interesting Eastern European accent.
Oddly
tight clothing.
Yeah. I remember a guy like that at the bar. Yeah, he was here kind of late.
Okay.
Stood out. Funny looking fellow, right? Dresses different than everybody else around here. He's got his own style.
Yes, he does.
I remember him.
And how many people was he there with?
Oh.
He tells me that he was there with a group of folks, all from a conference. Does that sound right to you? 4 or 5 friends?
That makes about right. There were a lot of people here last night. Everybody was kind of cutting it up.
Yeah, well, these folks would have been definitely very much together. They haven't seen each other in quite a long time.
And they were dressed like clowns. See if he buys that.
It was pretty busy in here though. But yeah, he was with at least a couple of guys. They looked like they were pretty chummy.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate your help. Thank you very much, Phil. His name is Phil.
Yeah,
right?
Whatever.
Yep.
I don't believe him for a second.
Yeah, it's like the whole town is in on it.
Is there a? Did I get a sense for his honesty over the phone? Did he sound genuine to me?
Yeah, he sounded. You can make a psychology roll. Okay. See if.
I'm sure that'll be great.
Yeah, I'm sure it will too.
I don't even think I can burn luck to get there. Where the hell's my psychology?
You could burn all the luck.
Oh, actually, you know what? I do have a little bit of psychology, and that's a success.
Oh, wow. There were. It seemed the only part that seemed off to you was that it was if the bar was as busy as he was saying that for him to all of a sudden remember seemed a little too convenient.
Okay. Yep.
But other than that, he sounded pretty truthful.
Yep. Pretty easy to slip a bartender $20 and feed him a story.
So.
Got it.
Spoken like a true bartender.
Yep.
I was.
All right.
Are we going to go back to us with Richard? Or
Yeah. Go back to that, and then Joe, if you want to help wake up Bello at any point while you're in there, we'll just assume that he's coming through. He looks like a mess though, Joe. Like you should, as a kid, like you've seen some things, and Cully's probably seen some more things than you've seen.
I don't know. Joe's seen some serious shit.
I've seen some things.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, that's yeah. Okay, never mind then.
I think Joe and I have separately had more experiences than kids our age should have had.
Yeah. So maybe actually in that sense, Bello's a little bit triggering, because he's such a mess.
Bello. Oh, I'm sorry.
Bello. Yeah. No. I was like, wait, did I say it right? No, Bello. Bello's.
What did I do?
Literally everything.
Yeah. Where do we start? We could spend the rest of the episode going through that. All right, so let's get back to Cully and Rutherford in the study with the candlestick.
So when we get Richard sitting down, I'm going to say, Richard,
which he comfortably kind of sits back in the chair in his study. Yep.
And I'm just going to say, Richard, it was really scary to have you just be so different than who I know. And,
No, Cully, I'm sorry that I, worried you, that I scared you. It's never my intention. You're a good kid, and you don't need to worry about me. I am Richard. You know me. I'm fine.
Okay. Rutherford wants to do a little test and a trick on Richard. He says, with our friends in town, you know how they love getting on the road and adventures. Why didn't you take him to your other place? The one, and I tell a completely different place. The other place he has is in a town, but I say the one in the foothills with the lake behind it.
And he kind of starts for a second, and then he looks at you funny, and he goes, Rutherford, what place in the foothills are you talking about?
And I said, the place we've gone to on occasion for resting and relaxation over in the hills just outside of town, not too far.
Actually, hang on. We might retcon this for a moment. Yeah. We'll do this. We're going to retcon that one. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Who taught him that word?
Right?
When you ask him about
I'm a retconner.
When you ask him about the one in the foothills, he says to you, oh yes, that would be fun to go back there soon. Maybe you could drive this time.
And he says, absolutely. And I said that's the other place you keep. It's so wonderful. And our friends, I mentioned their names. I said, they love getting out of town and settling in. They're such wonderful people for doing that.
And I'm going to say, Richard, is that where you go every week? Remember, how you take off like once a week or so, and you're gone for a day or two? Is that where you go to this cabin?
Yes, it's where I get away to have a little peace of mind and a little inspiration.
That sounds great. I wish I could see it sometime.
So this is where I guess another, maybe a spot hidden, just looking at his face, because I've known Richard for ages, and to see if there's any sort of confusion or if he's making things up on the spot, if he was thrown at all.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Let's see what we get. I got a straight, let's see, a 60, but I have a pretty good one. So that's a success.
Yeah, he's feeling he's definitely confused about what's going on all of a sudden. And you see him kind of pausing and searching a little bit. And there's definitely conflict on his face.
Okay, and then I throw in, and I said, I'm so glad you had such a good time. We haven't had such a blast since our days back at those graduate days at Northwestern University, which is not where we went.
And so with that, he pauses a minute, and he's really kind of. Now he looks really confused, and then he looks at you and he says, but Rutherford, we did not go to Northwestern.
And he says, what do you mean? He says, we had many a good time there going to visit. We would drive there and visit our other friends there.
But no, that is not where we visited them.
And he says, oh, maybe I'm remembering it wrong. I thought it was in Chicago.
Do you not make a persuade roll here?
I think I have a good persuade. Oh, I have a great persuade.
Oh, damn.
And you should also have like an 80 in gaslighting.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
No kidding. This is pretty good.
Hard success.
Okay. And he looks at you and he just says, Rutherford, if I knew better, I would think you were trying to confuse me or you don't believe me.
And I said, I've been working so hard and traveling so much. I don't remember half of our background in our college days back on the East Coast.
Oh, okay. Oh, that is, I get that. I get that. You do get lost in your head quite a bit.
But we went to college in the Midwest.
Gaslighting the keeper
and not Richard.
That's great. So I'm going to jump in on this, and I'm going to say, Richard, can you do me a favor? Because I've been getting to know Rutherford. He seems like a pretty good guy. I was wondering, do you want to tell him the story about when we met? I think it'd be much more interesting if you told him than if I told him.
Well, yes. I mean, and he goes on and he describes.
Does he tell that he remembers the actual story?
Yeah, but the keeper doesn't remember the actual story.
He saw me stealing something, just like palming like a piece of fruit or like something real small, and he sort of found me and talked to me and found out that I was almost homeless, like just bad childhood, staying away from my house.
And so he looks at you
slowly but surely, sort of started helping me out.
He looks at you deadpan and he goes, I remember it as clearly as that plum that I took out of your hand that day. And like that plum, you were not quite ripe, but now you're blossoming into a fully brilliant young man.
Bad word choices.
You are so... This is like such a paternal relationship, and you are just the most disgusting human being in the world.
What's wrong with that? He's proud of you for blossoming. What's wrong with that?
Into a plum.
Such an awful thing.
About some of the secrets.
Just really quickly. So with you sort of having this full memory and the whole thing, now I'm like even more confused. So I'm done participating. I'm not leaving or anything, but I'm just sitting down and my brain is just shot because I don't know what to think at this point.
Yeah. And we're probably getting close to the evening at this point too. It's been a day.
It has been a day.
Been a day.
Holy shit.
All right.
Real barn burner.
So
see what you did there. See what you did there.
So Richard gets up and he starts walking out of the study, and he's walking out of the study. He's again kind of looking around the house, and this is where he catches like a pair of feet hanging out across the counter in the kitchen, and he walks in and he's just like, oh my goodness, what is going on here? And he's just like, there's blood everywhere, and he's like kind of taking in the mess of his house for the first time since he's gotten up. And he sees you standing there, Joe, over Bello and Boone with probably your needle and thread and like your hammer, and you're kind of wiping up your hands maybe. And he goes,
yeah, you remember me, Mr. Richard. You hired me to help out around the yard and whatnot. But this man here, he was trampled.
But not to kill people on my kitchen counter. What is going on?
The table. He wouldn't fit on the counter, but yeah, he's on the table.
Is he dead?
No, honey, he's not dead yet.
Oh, he just got his ear torn off. It was more. Well, he got his arm broken in 3 places too. But I used some hobo medicine to fix him back up. And sorry, Mr. Richard. This was the cleanest place I could find. I didn't want to do it in the dirt outside.
Yes, it used to be a very clean house, and
now I promise I'll clean it up, Mr. Richard. I swear I'll clean it up. But right now, do you have any painkillers I could give to this fella? Because when he wakes up, he's gonna be in some terrible pain.
Wow. Is that Frankenstein? Who just woke up?
It's pretty Frankenstein-y.
Wow. And,
wait, was your mouth injured? I'm confused.
He's going to turn
I need
into
to get
Logan.
Whistling sounds. Hold on.
No, you hear the whistling sounds. We don't hear them.
Are we going to have another character?
You hear them, you don't make them.
Ears.
Oh no, that was so sad. He was just
Michael said at one point we see whistle coming out if I cough too hard.
So are we going to have another one of your characters with speech issues?
No. And on that note, we're going to have a little whistling sound and take a quick break.
All right. Everybody take a little break. We'll be back in 5-10 minutes. All right. We are back from break. Michael, take it away.
All right. So with that, y'all are all together and Richard's in the room with you. And what do y'all want to do?
Are we?
I think you're all
together.
He was in the. He was shocked by the kitchen.
Me, Joe, and
Richard walked away.
Joe and
from...
Bello are in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And someone went. I asked Richard if he could grab us some painkillers.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Depending on timing, Franny might be done in the bedroom now. I don't know. On the phone.
Good phrasing.
All right. So Richard heads back to the bathroom to go get some painkillers because apparently he has some left over from something. He's got a few left back in the cupboard. So he's going to get those, and he's going to leave y'all alone to talk about him behind his back for a minute.
Okay. So what we need to do is, I talked about it in another episode, is if we can find a hypnotist. I'd love to find a hypnotist, but there's also another way to do things with our Richard to see if we can coax. Now, he may very well believe all this stuff, and this is true to him. But at that time, it's World War II. They actually were using in the Secret Service and the medical areas chemicals as truth serums.
As soon as Richard walks out, Rutherford, I'm walking up to you. Like I was sort of following right behind you anyway. So I'm going to say, I don't understand what's happening, because he seems like he remembered when we met. He made some creepy plum insinuation, Keeper, but otherwise he remembered when we met. And is it really him or isn't it him?
Cully, I believe you're on the right track. It is both at the same time. There's something in him where I believe the government has, like I said, brainwashed him or instilled some other.
So did they take his recent memories but leave his other memories from a long time ago?
Well, Cully, you saw him. Well, actually, did Cully didn't see it, or did you? Yeah, you saw him pushed in the car, right? You were there that night. Yeah. So you saw with your own two eyes.
They took him away. Those weren't friends of his. There's no way those are friends of his.
He was brusquely pushed into a car. So we just have to look at the facts. He was pushed into the car. We found him wandering the streets. Don't let what he says now derail you from the facts that he has been injured somehow and used. These people have done something terrible to him.
So what about the bar? Is Franny in the room yet?
I would think so, right? Is enough time's gone by that.
So I'm going to say, Franny, come here.
Yeah, no, I would have been there talking with you anyway.
Okay, so I'm going to say, Franny, what do you think happened?
Well, I think Rutherford's on the right track here. It seems that he had some information or has some information somewhere in his mind that the facility does not want him to have. They have possibly extracted that information or attempted to extract it, and at the same time implanted some fake information to lead him to believe that he did something that he didn't do last night. Now, I just a moment ago, I called that bar. I called that bar, and the bartender did tell me that there were men there matching that description, but I don't believe him for a minute. I suspect that someone paid that bartender to give me that story, knowing that someone would check on it.
So, how extensive is Richard's medicine cabinet? Because we need to get him a dose of sodium pentothal. And
no, I mean it's stuff you'd find in any, like there's some stomach medicine.
There's sodium pentothal in everybody's medicine cabinet.
How extensive would a medicine cabinet have to be to have sodium?
Well, that's the thing is, Rutherford he's a chemist, so that he would ask questions like that, and so he starts thinking to himself where he could, he starts thinking where could he get some at the local drugstore, such like that.
Could I get some? Could I get some in my lab? I do work in a chemistry lab.
Yeah, I mean it's the 1940s. You could just go pick up a bottle of Say the Truth or something like that.
I think it might have some laudanum in there.
Yeah, laudanum and sodium pentothal, and you're good to go. Yeah, Franny, that would be. Those kinds of things. I think your characters would have basic access to.
Okay.
I mean, if you wanted to hunt really hardcore top secret materials, no, but sure, government lab, 40s, little sodium pentothal, you're all good to go.
I'm looking to see if Richard is coming back, and if I still don't hear him, I'm going to say, Rutherford, what was the thing about that cabin? That's what you were describing is different than what I didn't say anything like you told me not to, but how come he said he'd been there if you were talking about a completely different cabin? And I'm motioning Joe over. If I'm assuming you can sort of see us because I want you to hear all this.
Joe has slipped the room, but Bello's coming to with a little bit of moaning as you're discussing this.
Oh my lord! That's not my accent.
Oh, what happened?
He got his face stomped on, and so he lost his accent.
Oh my lord!
Who said that? Oh, is he trying to? He's trying to get his accent back.
I gotta get it back. I gotta get back into the groove. Oh my lord! Oh, that's smart. Just like the blistering sun of the fields of Kansas. Somebody, please come and help me. Oh, this pain is just unbearable.
It's okay, Mr. Bello. Mr. Richard's coming back with some high-grade painkiller for you.
It feels like my arm is large and in charge. What happened? What did you do to this, sir?
Well, it has been modified somewhat to provide extra support for the bone, which was broken in several places.
Yes, it is searing in pain. I probably can't even talk straight, but for the sake of this podcast, I will.
I think once it heals, you'll find that forearm is much, much stronger. You should be able to lift more weight with it. You'll be better than you were before.
Definitely. My Lord, did you make me the $20
man? Chris, I think you need to make your hobo medicine roll to see just how well you've got this puppy attached.
Yeah, that's definitely not going to
critically fail.
I'm imagining Bello's arm having a little divot in the middle where that center piece was just a little bit lower than the other two pieces.
It's definitely not going to rust in there.
No.
And it didn't have chicken juice on it, did it?
I'm sure it's titanium.
It's like Spider-Man. Now I'm hot chicken. I lay eggs.
Like that joke?
Regular success.
All right. We'll hold on that to see how he heals or doesn't heal then. Okay. Cully, you were in the midst of asking Rutherford a rather important question.
Yeah. So I say, so what? I feel like we need to go check out this place that we're not telling Richard that we know about. But how do we do that? We have to find out the truth because I want to find out what happened to Richard. I want Richard back. He's the only adult in my life that I guess because you guys, but he's the only adult that actually helps to keep me safe. I can't not have Richard in my life.
And I tell Cully, the place with the lake in the foothills doesn't exist. I completely made that up.
No, I got that. But what about the other place that does exist?
We have to be careful. That may be a safe refuge for us to go. If he is now in cahoots with the government and we let him in on that location, we could be in danger. That may be our safe haven to go to. So do not let him know that place at all.
But how is it safe if he knows about it? We learned about it because of him.
No, he doesn't. I don't think he does know that one.
Did they take that memory too?
I think the way he was looking around the rooms, he's learning a lot of things for the first time. And that may be one of the things he does not know about. When I talked about the small house I knew he has another house, but I led him astray by saying it was in the foothills, and he seemed confused and then concurred upon the story. I think he suspects that we were misleading him, but I don't think he knows of the other location.
Okay, and then while that's going on, Joe, what's happening with you?
So Joe had slipped out to follow Richard back to get while he's getting the meds, and I'll approach him and just say, Mr. Richard, I'm sorry to bother you.
Yes. Joe.
Yes, I'm Joe. I'm Cully's friend.
Oh, I know very well. You're a very nice person. Good friend to Cully.
Thank you. So I learned while talking to Franny and while talking to Rutherford that you might have known a man named Hans Becker. Does that name sound familiar to you?
Oh, yes, I remember Hans. Yes.
Did you know about any of his it's not research, I guess his experiments?
Oh, how would you know about these, child?
Well,
and Joe, as he's kind of digging through the medicine cabinet with his back turned to you, and you notice that he grips the edge of the sink really tightly as he's talking to you, and you can't tell if it's a response to the question you're asking or if he's trying to stabilize himself.
Okay. So I saw something that Hans did in a circle with a book. And
oh my goodness, child.
It was terrifying.
I do not know these things that you speak of. I was thinking of other things that's possibly you were talking about. So that I would hope you would not know that. But anyway, regardless, what did you see?
I mean, if you, it's really, I don't want to tell tales. I heard you might know him, and I thought you might be able to help me understand what I saw, but I guess you can't help.
And he holds the sink and he winces a little as you're talking to him, like he's in some sort of pain. And then he kind of lets go and he grabs the pills and he says, here we are. You'll have to tell me more about what you saw Hans do, but when you're comfortable, I don't want to push you unnecessarily.
Well, was he working on anything? I mean, what did you think I saw? Is there any danger? I know some people that live around him, and I would never want anyone to be in harm's way. And I mean, I'm sure it'll all be fine, but what were you talking about?
Well, Hans was just a little eccentric, yes? Is this what you found?
More than a little. More than eccentric. His work was dangerous. It was really dangerous.
Well, yes, I helped him design his library. Yes, it had many interesting kind of. Well, the keeper has to cough. Hold on.
Okay. Well,
poor kid.
It had many interesting kind of things that he asked for, but he did not share what these are for. He was quite private about some of these things, but his book collection was quite beautiful.
And
but
you also designed his library? Did you procure books for him?
No. That is not in my.
Or you just built the room?
I did not build anything. I just designed it for him.
Designed it, of course.
Yeah. He could. Yeah. But no, the things I know of that Hans did were shall we say, some of the vainer attractions of life. things that I hope that you would not know about him.
I'm not sure I understand you.
That's probably good then. And maybe we should go back in and take these painkillers to our friend in the kitchen who is obviously in need of them.
Oh!
Oh my goodness. Yes, let's check on Bello.
All right. So he walks back into this quite intense discussion between the people in the kitchen. It's not something he can fully focus on, though, because Bello is screaming out in such pain or moaning. And so all of those moans actually provide a bit of cover for what's going on.
And as soon as I see Richard, I'm going to sort of step away and be like, Richard!
Hey, Cully, yay!
Let's go see if we can help poor Bello Poulet.
No.
Well, you don't know, but please help because this hurts.
And he says, I found some of these pills left over from when I had that horrible toothache last year, and they really did the trick. And yes, I don't know what I don't know what kind of great painkillers they had in the 40s, but I'm sure there's some opiate derivative.
Probably
right?
just standard morphine would be probably what it is, and I don't know why Bello is telling you as he's. So go ahead, put it in my mouth. Give Daddy his medicine.
That's the secret ingredient of greaseless chicken. A little bit of morphine.
That's right.
Boone will baby bird the pills into your mouth.
Wow. I'm just, yes. There's so many laying out there, and I'm just gonna jump all. I'm not even gonna live up to our immaturity. It's too easy. All right, and I'll put it in your mouth.
That I can almost feel the magic tingling my tongue already as it.
All right. So it's getting kind of close towards the evening at this point too, right? The sun's starting to set. You can still see a little bit of the glow of the fire. It doesn't seem as intense out on the horizon. Nobody's checked on it, but in case you do, it's a little bit less intense out on the horizon, which makes you think that it's getting under control. Let's make who's going to be the more savvy? Who's going to be the more street smart in the group?
Probably. I mean, Cully sort of grew up on the streets.
Joe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know how to deal with cops.
Yeah, Boone.
Yeah.
Actually, I would say
I'm
of everyone,
sneaky.
Boone, right?
Yeah,
We've seen it all.
figures.
Boone, why don't you make an idea roller, and do you have something for intelligence that's reasonable? Yeah, make a roll there.
Regular success.
Yeah, so it's about this time after everything that's happened that you're kind of putting together in your head that y'all left the scene of a major incident in a very flashy chicken mobile.
And it's still parked outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, Mr. Richard, I'll come back to clean this up later. I left the vehicle running outside. I need to go check it. I just need to go check on it.
But what are you doing to La Banca?
You just you just take it easy there, Mr. Bello.
I can take care of it. You could just
cannot. You morphine-addled, one-armed chicken man.
Don't forget one ear.
Oh, God. Yeah, and I sewed the earlobe on so it comes out horizontally.
Oh, nice.
Hanging
Oh,
down.
so is it more of a read action then? I had like a kazoo. I got to get a kazoo. Okay.
So I go out and I hop in the chicken mobile and I just gun it, and I'm going to take it out. And you know what? I'm going to drive down to the what is it called, Cully? The
flats.
The Straits.
Straits. Yeah.
I'm going to drive down to the Straits, abandon it there, and then just walk back. Bello, it's connected to a crime.
And they don't know that it's my car.
2 crimes, actually.
A murder
and a
and
major
burning
arson.
down of a base.
You know what?
Just a small distraction.
I'm going to drive it down to the Straits, and I'm going to set it on fire.
No.
Oh, that oil will burn real good.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna put a rag into the gas tank.
You could just pluck the chicken feathers off of it. That's
I'll take anything that looks like valuables that Mr. Bello would want.
Oh, okay.
Like clothes,
chicken,
valuables, whatever.
Bello, can you tell us
a chicken recipe?
I think Bello would have a trinket or something in the glove compartment or something like that. I want to give him this. Bello, what's the trinket that you want Boone to save out of the glove compartment?
I would have my mother's cookbook and a splintered off end of the baseball bat from my father.
Oh, Jesus.
And y'all don't forget that Bello does have a firearm. I guess I would presume in his pants.
Yes, there is.
Okay. So he probably has like a suitcase as well. So anything that looks even remotely valuable,
okay,
I put in the suitcase, zip it up, rag down in the gas tank with some gas on it, and light it, and then I just hightail it. Okay. Not near any houses, but like
yeah. No,
just outside of the Straits.
Yeah.
Keeper's coughing.
All right, and so as you hightail it, there's pretty good. You hear that familiar whoosh right behind you as the chicken mobile, the Baca. Is that what you called it?
Bello La Baca.
Yeah, the La Baca mobile.
Baca. It's Italian for boat. It's the chicken boat.
Barca.
Thank you. He has to do that now.
Actually, on that note, there's a whoosh, and then all of a sudden, as it explodes from the gas tank, and little pieces of chicken metal fly all through the air. There's no putting this puppy back together.
As well as actual chicken pieces, which I think would be ironic and amusing in some fashion.
Sure,
they one at a time start flopping on the sidewalk around.
Yes.
In fact, as you're hightailing it away, Boone, one of those now cooked chicken parts lands right in front of you, and you can't help but look down and chuckle a little bit.
No, I pick it up and eat it. As I'm going to need energy to make it.
Okay.
I go, Mr. Bello. We'll keep you safe. We'll get you all disguised. They won't even know you're the same man. Well, they practically won't know now with the way you look.
You're just saying that to yourself in the middle of the
class. I talk to myself all the time. Okay, I'm a lone homo. I gotta keep myself company.
All right,
I just need you to clarify.
And Boone, just to clarify, are you headed straight back to Richard's house?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so we'll check back in on you in a little bit. What do y'all want to do this evening with Richard? The rest of you folks.
I will want to at some point try and pull Joe aside.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's not too hard to do. I mean, there's plenty of casual conversation going on, and there should be an opportune time to pull Joe aside.
Mm-hmm.
And for what it's worth, as soon as things have calmed down a teeny bit, I want to start talking to Richard and asking him about the magician. So,
and Rutherford mixes a couple of very strong drinks and brings them to Richard, saying, "There's nothing better than hair of the dog to feel better." And he, I
think Bello Poulet would really like some of them strong drinks too.
He gives him a beverage, and then goes. Takes a bottle and just pours it directly into Bello Poulet's mouth.
And a little bit dribbles out the gravel hole in the side of his cheek.
Oh my God! It actually.
But now I got a gravel hole in my cheek. We're just gonna
apparently.
So Rutherford's drink is
more whistle holes,
and one he made
cover it up like a flute.
Strong.
It's the ocarina of Bello.
Joe, do you have a nervous tick when you get anxious?
She lights things
I'm a
on fire.
pretty good liar. I think I have a real straight face.
Okay.
Actually.
Okay. All right, but it wouldn't have
It's
to be
a
facial.
well-honed skill.
Not when you lied. Like you could still get anxious about other things, but not when you lied. Like when something genuinely makes you nervous. Like like this other life that Richard was alluding to for Hans or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I would say I probably start just fidgeting with the fingers on my dominant hand.
Okay.
Just at my side.
Okay. And as you did that, as Richard was talking to you, you noticed the underside of your thumb was just a little bit sore. Nothing that really but just oddly a little bit sore.
Well, all my fingers hurt from when the journal tried to eat them.
Okay.
Weird.
And that makes you how sometimes when something hurts, you just rub it a little bit more because you're like,
yep.
Yeah. Huh. I did that. Okay. All right. Good. Okay.
Rutherford was in the middle of saying something when.
Oh, I was just mixing those very strong drink for Richard and a relatively weak one for himself, and telling Richard a bit of the hair of the dog will settle you down and
oh my God, this sounds so good. Yes, I would love a good strong drink, my friend. Thank you.
And then Rutherford, with his chemistry knowledge, will adjourn for a moment, and before he mixes his second drink, we'll look for something in the medicine cabinet that he can maybe mix into it that will really settle him down to make him even perhaps loosen up his consciousness.
Okay, make a luck roll.
And yeah, got it.
And as he's tasting or as he's drinking the first drink you gave him, so you find would Valium be a thing? Maybe a little Valium?
I'm sure there'd be something of that nature around World War II.
Something along those lines. That seems like a good thing to have in the medicine cabinet then. But Richard's already complaining to you that the drink tastes funny. What did you give him? Let's start there.
Oh, well, that would have been his favorite with his accent and everything. Good vodka, and then mixed with a little bit of fresh, something fresh from the refrigerator and some ice. He finds that very refreshing.
Okay, so give me something fresh. What would something fresh be?
Oh, I look for some citrus. Being the area that we are, there's oranges from California, and we have, of course, pineapple.
Okay. And so as he sips it, he says, the vodka is very good, Rutherford, but the orange juice, were the oranges bad? They taste a little rancid.
And I said, the oranges I found weren't the normal ones you seemed, the navels. They were another variety. I think they were almost like a tangerine or a tangelo. And that could do it. I know how you like your drinks very specifically made, just like me. And I clink his glass and I say, down the hatch. And I drink mine down.
And he goes, nah, well, why not? And he downs it as well with you.
Nice. And then I said,
I am going to have to do this accent a little bit slurry in a minute, and this is going to make it all even more interesting.
And I said, since I missed all the fun last night, Richard, I'm going to have another. And you?
No, I will never turn down a drink from you, Rutherford.
You never have. And I go mix a couple more.
Okay. All right.
So at some point, I'm gonna say, Joe, might I get a minute for a word?
Sure, Franny.
So I'll head off to a room nearby, study or whatever, someplace where someone isn't. So Joe, I think that there might be a little bit of tension between us that I just want to clear up, and I think you might be under a misapprehension that I think going forward would be important for us to clear. Now, I know
a misapprehension that you think I'm full of nonsense.
Now, Joe, I know that's what you think, but simply because I didn't believe one thing that you said, and I know that seems very important to you, I don't want you to think that means that I will mistrust you going forward. Just because I tried something and didn't get the same result that you did in one instance does not mean that I do not trust you or that I don't respect your opinion. And I don't want you to think that simply because I am a person of science and older than you, that somehow means that I'm going to discount your opinion going forward.
Do you believe my story now?
So I don't know what to think about your story, but I will tell you that my experience with your book is different than your experience with your book. And I do think it's important for you to know that simply because I am in a scientific field does not mean that I do not believe in things that I cannot see or prove. I have had experiences myself that I'm going to guess that you might not believe. But simply because I didn't believe one thing that you did does not mean that we cannot work together going forward. And I do want to ask you to give me the benefit of the doubt in that I have seen some things too, some things that do not fit into a standard scientific criteria.
Like what?
Well, let's just say that while I was experimenting with something in the lab one night, something happened that many people would not believe. And
well, that sounds like my experience.
Well, it might be, but I think the point is that simply because we had a disagreement about one thing, I would like to think that going forward that we could continue as equals. I don't want you to think that simply because I am in some artificial, because I'm older and I work in a lab, that I'm somehow connected to these people and that I am some sort of authority figure. I'm not. I think we are both on the same team, and I do respect your opinion and your contribution. So I don't want you to think that simply because I didn't believe you about this one thing that means that we are now adversaries.
I appreciate that. You just have to understand that the one thing that you didn't believe was truly the most horrible thing that has ever happened to me, and it happened to me.
All right, but I believe you.
So I think here, Joe, you can make a psych roll.
Okay.
Because if I have Franny make a persuade roll, we know how that's going to go. So we're going to have an opportunity to succeid.
Well, my psychology's real bad.
It's probably better than Franny's persuade.
Yeah, but I failed my psychology roll.
My persuade's not terrible.
Okay, I'll give you a chance then.
Just my rolling that's terrible.
Yeah, that's true too. Make a persuade roll then.
Holy smokes. That is a hard success.
Okay. So
I'm persuaded.
I think the line of conversation, y'all just keep going. I think it's right on, right? Like that Franny's convincing you, but you're still concerned that she's not understanding you. I think y'all are right in line. So just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I guess I had just said that it was the most important thing. And yeah. Okay.
So oh no, go ahead.
Well, no, I think you could respond to that.
Okay. So I think that we're going to find that there's going to be some commonalities amongst us that maybe we didn't expect, because we are stumbling into something very serious here. And regardless of what we've experienced in the past, I think we're all going to have an open mind going forward. And I think we're going to continue to see some very strange things. and we're going to need to trust each other. And I think you've seen that sometimes we might get disregarded simply because of our identities. I've seen it happen already today. And I want you to know that I will not disregard you simply because you are a young girl. I will take the facts as they are, which I apologize that I didn't see what you wanted me to see in your book, but I didn't. So I can't say for myself that I had that experience. That does not disregard your experience, though.
I would not want you to lie to me. I would not want anyone to lie to me. I just, maybe if we look together, we can find some way to understand how our experiences fit. Because the Hans Becker that I saw from afar, I didn't know him, I only watched him, but he seemed to be a strange and dangerous man.
Yeah, that does seem
and
to
he could
jive.
be that and also be a trickster.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't invalidate the other parts of him. And I'm sure that we can find a way to work together. We're going to have to, because this situation is just becoming more and more terrifying.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I think that I can feel that it may get a little crazier before things return to any sort of sense of normalcy. We do seem to be going down a path.
You can count on that.
At least we have the chicken mobile to fall back on.
Oh, wait. All right.
Well, I'll just say one
Joe.
more thing. I'll just say, in that case, I'll just say, Franny, I really think we should go to Abiquiu. As much as I hate to go back there, I think we should go, and I think we should see if Hans is still there, and maybe I can show you what I saw.
Well, that sounds terrifying, but I do agree with you. I don't know if I want to have the same experiences that you did, but I think that might be important.
No, God, no. Just the truth of them.
Right.
Franny, I think you would be compelled, right, if you to restore this relationship, and maybe with some hindsight, some remorse that, absolutely, you're compelled to.
Yeah, Franny is pretty much dead set on going to Abiquiu.
Okay.
Yeah. But is not, trying to be circumspect about it. So yes, I agree with you, Joe. I think we do need to go to Abiquiu. I think we might, there might be some things there that we might not enjoy seeing. But I think if we're going to get to the bottom of this, I don't think there's any way around it. But with Richard's other property there, with your experience there, with Hans, with Hans's connection there, I think it seems to be calling to us. The big question is how we're all going to fit in one vehicle to get there, but I'm sure we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we're going to regret that, didn't we?
If only we had a large vehicle that would fit several people in it.
Does Richard only have the one car?
I don't know.
Yeah, Richard only has the one car. But Franny and Rutherford would probably have their own transportation. They're certainly.
I don't think Franny does. I think Franny takes the bus.
Okay, then, and Rutherford would, right?
He would have an old car that he has to work on and fix because he's got really good mechanical repair. So that's where he got it from working on it.
Yeah, but those new ones,
be able to travel together.
The government chips those new ones. You wouldn't have any one of those things.
That's right.
All right, Bello. Since you've been knocked out of this, but before we wrap up for the evening, I want to give you a chance to participate in any way that you would like. We have a few more things. Rutherford's got to get back to Richard with his drink, but what do you want to do, Bello?
And maybe we won't have time this time, but I really wanted to talk to Richard about the magician.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
but we'll wait.
Get there.
We can
no. We'll get there in just a sec.
Okay.
What is it? Did everybody just leave me in the room? Am I just?
I think Richard, like I'm still in the room. There's a bunch of us.
Are you still in the room?
Yeah, they all just think of it. Y'all just moved to the living room, right? You're settling down for evening cocktails. Boone's missing because he went and blew up your car, and Joe and Franny are in the other room making up. And
I'm not still left on the kitchen table.
No, it's basically you and Cully and Richard in a room together.
Oh, interesting. And I'll say, Mr. Richard, we've not met. I am relatively new to this group and found my way here through some extremely unusual circumstances. But thank you for letting me crash here on your couch and bleed in your kitchen. Is you on mute, Richard? Because I can't hear you.
But I lost my voice momentarily. Quick onset post-amnesia laryngitis, very common side effect. And I have it back now. And yes, a friend of my friends it's wonderful to have you. You said your name, Mr. Poulet, yes?
Yes, Mr. Poulet. And whereabouts are you from, Richard?
This is where the keeper's memory gets a little fuzzy, but it lines up with the factual, probably the Midwest. But
yes, Vladivostok, Kansas. I know it well. That's
This is Midwest accent.
Yeah. No, but I spent my youth in Eastern Europe.
Oh, I see. And they have very interesting cuisine out there and unique history and tales. I'm a bit of a lover of mythology, and I know they have tales of various trickster fiends and foes out there. Anything that you ran into when you were studying?
Most of my higher studies occurred here in the States. Yes, I moved here and that is in fact where I met good friend Rutherford.
Oh, yes. He is a very well-spoken individual, albeit a kind one at times. And I actually don't recall if we had very much of an interaction at all, Rutherford, aside for some passing chicken time.
You look a little worse for the wear, though, I must ask. What happened to you?
Oh, me, yes. Well, you see, there was a couple of stampedes. In fact, that's becoming my trademark. People just seem to stample all over me, and then I get injured. I get repaired after being knocked out for half a session or so, and then I come to, and here I am with an arm
and a face.
So what is this stampede you speak of? What happened?
Well, it sounds like there was some sort of commotion, chemical fire, or the like. Something over there in that the base that you see. I was supposed to provide.
He winces as you're talking to him, and he kind of rubs his head for a second.
Oh, you're in some pain there, Mister.
No, don't worry about me, please. You were talking about the base. There was a problem down at the base.
Yeah, so I'll keep an eye on him, and I'll say the base.
Okay. And yes, the base.
And I guess I should just drop it. All right. So
do you know how to do that?
Wow. So I was providing some chicken to the base. You see, I'm a chicken purveyor from Kentucky.
Oh, wonderful.
And I just Yes. And luckily that contract went forward. Do you know anybody there in the culinary services by chance?
No. Just one of the building managers for the dining services. But
I swear, I will lose it if you say Paula Bradford.
No, Paula Bradford.
Oh, okay. And at that point, I see her standing behind him, glaring at me. Yeah. No, Paul Bladford. Wonderful, Richard. And what do you do there at the base?
I do not work at the base. No, I helped do some of the blueprints and designs for some of the buildings. So you said there was some sort of fire, though, some sort of chemical fire. They're very specific. Yes. Was this news? This chemical fire?
No, I just presume it's a military base, and that conflagration just seemed to come out of nowhere and spread very quickly. In fact, I think there may be some fatalities, which is just, I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but my lord.
There were no fatalities, no fatalities.
You're not there, Joe. You're not there, though. I'm staring at a dead Paula Bradford behind him.
I like to think that her head is like
I was going to say
tilted to one side.
She begged to argue if she had the ability to talk.
Right. She's holding the contract for Bello Poulet's chicken contract and tearing it up in the afterlife. That's going great. Let's say yes, something of that sort. I think there's going to be quite the disruption over there. In fact, there may be new opportunities to build or rebuild. In fact, so.
Oh my goodness! I hope nobody was hurt too badly.
Yes.
Awkward silence ensues.
I hope nobody was injured. For you see, that means one less belly to fill with my chicken. It's a weird take. Just let's forget I said that.
The consummate capitalist. Yes, I can tell. Yes, always wanting to sell. More
well, you could just say,
to sell too. Yes,
you could just say that's just the devil on my shoulder.
Yes, or the one behind me mocking you. But so you were able to. Is this how you sustain these injuries then?
Yes. Yes, they started actually at the theater. I don't know if you've been there before. I think you were supposed to meet some of your comrades over there.
He was at the theater with us.
Oh, he got abducted after the theater, right?
Yes, I took you to theater.
And we're listening to this whole
well, not you,
right?
I didn't take you to theater.
As soon as Bello mentions the theater, I'm going to jump in and say, and Richard, we didn't even have a chance to talk. You brought us to see the magician. I wanted to ask you what you thought about him because I've never seen anything like that.
Isn't it impressive? Yes, this magical display. He is very good with the illusions, don't you think?
What? This is where Rutherford and I had some problems because I thought it was real magic.
Well,
and Rutherford tells me that I'm crazy and I'm just falling prey to something or other. I don't know what he said, but that I've never seen.
He winces again as you're talking.
That was real magic.
And he holds his head in his hand a little bit longer this time, and he just squeezes it and he rubs it. And but no, Cully, there is no such thing as real magic.
Rutherford's there with us, right? He's still
Well, he's probably working his way back in the room at this point with his second drink. And so I'm
going to be like, Rutherford, we were just talking about the magician, and I know that you and I disagreed, and that's okay because I still like you, even if you're wrong. But with Richard, I was just telling Richard that I think the magician was doing real magic.
But Richard, Rutherford, what did you know? He's just very good illusionist. Yes, I mean, I don't know how exactly, but there's no such thing as real magic.
I don't know about that. So what did you think? What would you guess he did? How do you think he did his trick then? And I'm asking Richard this.
Yeah, and
because you said you wanted us to make a guess. Yeah. And so I'm telling you that my guess is that it's real magic.
And as you say,
I'm wondering what your guess is.
Rutherford, you're giving Richard another drink, and he goes to reach for it, and he kind of misses, and the drink falls all over the carpet. And the keeper's going to cough again.
Oh, poor keeper.
Poor keeper.
And he turns back, and he holds his head, and he says, "Oh, then I'm so sorry. The hair of the dog is not fixing me up tonight. I think I must go lay down and rest for a while this evening."
And Cully, let's take him to his bedroom. I think it's very important. We have him.
I'm sorry laying down soon. Anything to upset you?
And as y'all kind of walk him, he's steadying himself on your shoulders, and occasionally, Rutherford, he squeezes your shoulder just really hard, like that there's significant pain going on. And he goes to as y'all get him back to bed.
Oh. Ooh. I try to read into that squeeze. So was it a squeeze that was just like a pain squeeze, where like a reaction, or was it more like he was sending some sort of like a straightforward, like some indication or message?
Yeah, no, he's reacting. You've seen him kind of have this spontaneous. It's out of pain.
Out of pain. Okay.
Yeah.
And I said, Cully, our friend is in terrible pain right now. We need to get him settled down on his bed. And we
do we have any more, Rutherford? Do we have any more of that medicine that we gave Bello? Is there anything left?
And I said, I'm sure there's more in the cabinet. And bring him to the bed. And as we do so, and he's relaxing, and after the drink or two, start putting him down onto the bed. And as I do that, I just say into his ear quietly, as he's not, hopefully in that situation, he's not focused on.
So you gave him a Valium? Is that what you did?
Yeah, in the drink.
Okay.
And so hopefully he's not focused on, blocking out things. And I quietly, as we're leaning him down to the bed and Cully's there, I just say quickly, who pushed you into the car?
Make a This could be a good cliffhanger moment.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is blind luck. It's just really blind luck. Let's give it the old, yeah.
I got very, very good luck. And we got it.
Okay. All right. So that'll be a cliffhanger moment for the episode on what he says next week.
Is there any great setup, Rutherford?
Yeah, nice.
Actually, I was going to say, let me do it, because I was going to say instead of luck, or could it be a persuade?
No, I think that one's luck. I think based on it's going to be luck.
All right. So I was just above it.
Oh, you missed the luck?
Yeah, the luck was just a little high.
Okay. What would it have been for persuade? Would it have been normal?
No, I didn't get it with normal, but I could burn a bunch of luck.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. All right. So we'll still leave that as a nice little cliffhanger. Anything anybody else wants to do before we conclude this episode? Because yeah.
Nope.
No, I guess at some point I would have told one of them, seeing him in this distress, about the moment of pain on his face when I mentioned the base, but I'll just throw that out there so I don't forget next week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good.
All right. With that, we will call it a night. Check us out in the meantime for next episode on underthelibrary.com, on Twitter at underthelib. If you'd like to see Scott's reaction to the beginning of this episode, just go to YouTube and search Under the Library. If you happen to be watching this on YouTube and you want to hear us, you can find us wherever you get your podcast. Until next time, for me, for Michael, for Emily, Wayne, Scott, Chris, and Rick, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.